Hi class, I'm your instructor, Mr. G, going over with things that we're going to be talking about today. All right, so today we're going to be covering the paperwork of the class. So things that you guys need to know about as far as the paperwork goes, which is syllabus, the project list, the media release form, the first survey, the student profile sheet, and then I think that's it. All right, so the first thing you guys are going to be working on is the student survey form. On here, you have your name, contact information, your schedule, and then just a little bit of getting to know you and things about you that I need to know as far as like what kind of art are you into, what kind of art are you into, what your influences are. That helps me kind of gauge in some of the tips and tricks and things that I use. I need to understand a little bit about you so that I can make the class work in your favor. Now, after you get done with the survey sheet, for those of my students that are over 18, take care of the media release form. If you were not over 18, please take this home, get signed, and brought back the next class. That's when it's due for me. The rest of you, if you are over 18, go ahead and get it signed, turned in. Main reason is because we do a lot of film, video, pictures. I'm a big fan of using Instagram for the work to get you guys' work out there. I'm a big fan of proponent of you pushing your work out there because that gets you more applicable to pumping out your marketing your own work and understanding the realm of artwork is not just for your own creation, but it's for the creation of other people as well. And getting that out there, it's actually one of our standards where you are in coordination of the artwork that you produce and the cultures that you're trying to influence, and you working on creating a certain personal voice and a certain aspect of yourself. Again, it's all these state standards that we got to cover, and it's just the way that I like to cover it. Now, after you guys get that done, the next thing we got to take care of is the student profile sheet. Student profile sheet's this big grid thing. I do need you to fill out the top part up here, and then we're going to skip down towards the bottom section down here, the strategies used. It's really to tell me what is the best way for you to learn? How do you learn best? Do you like the video aspect that I do here? Do you need a one-on-one talking session? Do you prefer to see me create the artwork and then you emulate that, or working with peers? What's the best learning style for you? Finally, we're down to the meat and potatoes of the entire class itself, which is the syllabus. Now, a lot of teachers hand out a syllabus. It's a bunch of words that just tell you what you guys are going to be covering in the class. These are from the county. It's kind of the mandated forms that we have to send out. You will get this, but the one that I really go by is my project list, because on here we have a list of pictures and a check off sheet, so you can check off your work as you're moving along. Now, the syllabus for my ceramics class, you guys, it's the same. The syllabus is the same across the board. Not a lot of differences here. However, there are some small things which I'll go over. Everything else, it's the same for the rest of the class that you're taking, so you can just check it out if you need to. For ceramics, there at the top you have my email address. If you have a question, concern, or you have images that I've asked you to collect, make sure that you send them to my email address. That way I can print them off for you. And again, if you have questions, comments, email is always good for me. The units 4, 5, and 6, because we're getting into the second half of ceramics. First one is media and sculpture. Second, there's conceptual exploration. Third one is professional development and personal voice. For these elements, the things that you guys are creating in here, it's a lot more independent study pieces. You guys are coming up with a lot more of your own ideas, concepts, and the pieces that you guys want to build. I do have a roadmap, a guide, and the project list that I provide. However, it is a guide. It is not definitive. This is what you have to create, and that's one thing I do need to harp on. Grading scale for the system is the same across the board, so if you've covered it in one class, it's the same across the board. Same thing for the student progress, academic integrity, homework, and makeup work. All makeup work that we do nowadays. Now, if you're out, ask me what you missed more than I'll just say it was a work day, because most of the stuff that we're doing is work day based. If it's a snow date, it's going to be on Verge. I'm a big proponent of using Verge for our online applications, because I like tech, and this is what I do. Materials for the class are clay is in here, tools are in here, things that you got to take care of is sketchbook, something to write with, coming prepared in those forms to class. Overall, you'll probably find. If I need to have you bring in something else, I'll tell you a couple days ahead of time. Make sure that you bring it in, and we're good. Everything's taken care of. Sign and date that, and make sure I get that ASAP from you, but make sure that you're handing it to me. Now, the project list for my ceramics class overall, we have a list of projects here. The project list as a whole all looks about the same across the board. Okay, so we're going to look at the overview of the projects that you guys are going to have for class. Now, the overview for the projects listed on the project section are listed on the side here. The images are to correspond with the projects themselves. However, these are not definitive. This is what you have to make. I'm looking to you to create your own version of the project. Now, these are all jumping off points. These are the guides that I want you to go by, but I do expect you to create your own piece. Art history is listed at the top. We have X amount of art history sections for the X amount of art history Wednesdays that we have. For the sections that we have here for sculpture, for ceramics class, you have a sculpture section, which is you're going to create a pattern mug, pattern print design, gnome house, and then expression mug. Those are the three elements that you guys are going to be making in the sculpture section. Now, the pictures that you're seeing are there to act again as a jumping off point, as a guide. They're not by far the definitive, this is what you have to make, but this is what I do expect you to at least use as a base. Use this to get your elements started. Make sure that you're watching other videos. Some of the other videos that I have are on the human face and a zombie face illustration piece. You need to understand how to draw these things so that when you go to the sculpture aspect and you're adding clay elements in, you're going to be doing it in an additive sculpture measure, but you're also going to have subtractive elements that you're going to have to take pieces away. As you build the mug up, for the expression mug, you're going to build a mug and then add elements of clay to build up a face on that mug. Afterwards, you're then going to have to subtract elements of that clay back so that you can create a carved design for the face that you've built. Next section is the wheel throwing. The wheel throwing section that I have on here starts on week 2 and it goes all the way to the end of term. I want you guys to be able to get time in on the wheel to make sure that you understand how to do it. However, I will tell you now is probably the most difficult thing that you guys are going to have to do all term. Now, on the wheel, you have 3 pieces you have to take care of. Number 1 is a bowl, cup, and then either another bowl or another cup. So 3 pieces all together, but it's basically 2 of the same. If you are unable to complete that, in the final week, I open up the last couple weeks of class, I open up the double or nothing challenge. If towards the end of the term you fail to get your pieces off the wheel, center, building the piece, and then trimming the piece. If you fail to get to centering the piece, building the piece, and then trimming the piece, fail to get that part done, you get to do a double or nothing section, which means you have to do 2 bowls, 2 cups, and 2 frees. So double the work to get the grade, because hand building is faster and it is easier than doing it on the wheel, but I'll give you that option just in case. The final section you guys are going to be working on is independent study section. For the independent study section, you have a fan art sculpture piece, the ceramic mask design, the interior versus exterior, and the independent project, which is 2 pieces working together in unison. Now again, each of these pieces that you guys are building, again, the images that you see are to start you off and get you a concept going. However, it is not definitive as to that's what you're going to make, but it is going to give you a better understanding of what it is. Okay, so for the independent study projects though, independent study, you have the fan art sculpture, the ceramic mask, interior versus exterior, independent study project, which is 2 pieces. And for this, the fan art sculpture is we're going to do a small maquette sculpture about 6 to 7 inches high, and it's going to be a in-depth sculpture that you're going to have to articulate and carve out exactly what you want of the kind of characters that you're into. Now, my big thing is when you're doing projects like this, don't do something that is very specific to a certain genre, i.e. don't do anything that's like a SpongeBob, a cartoon character, no Tweety birds, no, and I say that only because those characters are so iconic and so representative of a shape and a structure that if that design that you do is not spot on, then it's really bad. I've had students over the years that'll do like Tweety bird, where they'll make the head, and then there's little bits of pockets of the clay that they didn't properly smooth out, and it sticks out like a sore thumb, or you finding the glaze that is the exact same color, and it's just so off. It's just off that it doesn't become a good piece, and it's actually more of a deterrent because of those mistakes. For the ceramic mask, I have mask molds that we're going to be making, but go ahead and start working on designs, and we can bleed these off of the other projects, which is the expression mug that we're starting off with, coming up with elements in those designs that you already did and applying those to the mask that you're creating later on. Now for the independent project, you have 2 things that need to work together in unison, basically like a tea set where you have the tray with the cups and then the tea pitcher and saucers that go with it. So it's a large grouping of objects that'll work together, but these are elements that'll work together in a set piece. So I do want you guys to be thinking about that early on, because designing that is going to become imperative earlier rather than later. Now, this is just an overview of the projects that we do in class. Some of these will be changed, some of these will be slightly augmented, but for overall, this is the basic gist of what we're working on. I do want you guys to spend the first couple weeks here, go ahead and start working on the designs of the projects themselves, any alterations and changes that you are going to add to those projects to give you those better overall pieces. All right, class, so I have several of the videos that you guys need to watch, and I'm going to link those down in the description box below this video. Do start off with the class rules and routines. For my ceramics class, after you guys have finished the rules video, I do want you guys to check out the human face illustration I have. I think it's I can't draw my face when I'm not with you. And then the zombie 101 and how to draw zombies. Reason we need to start working on these is as we're getting into those expression mugs and the mask designs, you do need to understand how to draw a face and how to draw some basic things, so that when you start working on your designs for your pieces, you got a roadmap to work with, and I can help you a lot easier when I know what you're trying to build and I can see that formation. Again, as always, if you guys have questions or concerns, please either raise your hand down in the comments below, email me, or whatnot, so that I can help you out as best I can. But the big thing is if you need my assistance, I'm a very visual person myself. Seeing a sketch, seeing that illustration helps me help you create a better piece. All right, class, so I will see you maybe next class. I'm not 100% certain, because I've got a lot going on this month.